Sigma's flagship mirrorless camera, the SD Quattro H, recalls a time in digital photography when manufacturers felt free to go crazy with their designs, to do whatever they wanted to try to bring in new customers who until then had been shooting on film. It looks futuristic yet retro at the same time, like something built for a NASA moon mission. It's awkwardly large with a rational and Spartan exterior, but it is very well made. The dual display rear LCD panel looks strange at first, but is very functional, and the funky elevated grip looks a bit weird, but is not altogether bad. Take the camera out in public and it's bound to attract some attention. But maybe there's a reason for that. This camera's striking exterior reflects an equally unique interior. Unlike virtually every other camera manufacturer, Sigma doesn't use sensors with color filter arrays. Other imaging sensors cover a layer of monochromatic, light-sensitive photodiodes with an RGB filter that allows the sensor to see color. The color filter determines which pixels are sensitive to which colors of light, and any given pixel is only sensitive to that one color, red, green, or blue. But the sensor inside the Quattro H is different. It's the latest Quattro version of the Foveon X3 chip that Sigma has been using since 2002. Sigma actually bought Foveon in 2008 and is the exclusive producer of cameras that use its technology. And the technology is really, really cool. Rather than a color filter, a Foveon sensor uses the natural light absorption properties of silicon to capture different wavelengths of light at different depths within the sensor. Each pixel is made up of 3 photodiodes stacked on top of each other. Blue light is recorded at the top level, green in the middle, and finally red, which has the longest wavelength, at the bottom. That means full RGB color information is recorded at every pixel location, which increases the effective resolution compared to a traditional sensor with a similar megapixel count. It also removes the need for an optical low-pass filter, which again increases resolution. The particular sensor in the SD Quattro H is an APS-H unit with a crop factor of 1.3x, putting it between APS-C and full-frame sensors. It uses a top layer of 25.5 megapixels, but Sigma claims its resolution is equal to that of a 51 megapixel camera using a traditional color filter. We don't disagree. This camera puts out some absolutely beautiful images with rich colors, great tonality, and oodles of detail. Under the right conditions, it will outperform cameras with larger sensors and much larger price tags. But under the right conditions is key here. Because of the aggressive processing that the X3 chip requires, it produces a lot of noise. Step away from base ISO and you quickly run into trouble. The camera technically goes up to ISO 6400, but we prefer to think of it as a 1 ISO camera, kind of like shooting film. You might get away with ISO 400, but anything above that really starts to show the noise, which counteracts whatever resolution and color benefit the camera may have had. And that's not the only issue. As for actually using the camera, it leaves a lot to be desired. Autofocus performance is painfully slow most of the time, and it's the same story with the image write times, although the RAW files are over 140 megabytes, so that kind of makes sense. The LCD screen and EVF are mostly good, but do suffer somewhat from aliasing. Occasionally it was difficult to tell if our subject was truly in focus until after the shot. Battery life is also pretty bad, with Sigma claiming just 187 exposures on a charge. And yes, it's big and heavy, and the reliance on Sigma's SA mount, designed for SLRs, adds seemingly unnecessary bulk to a mirrorless camera. This does ensure compatibility with all of Sigma's lenses, however, so we see why they did it. The Sigma SD Quattro H is essentially a camera that got one thing right and everything else wrong. But that one thing it does so well that it goes a long way toward making up for all of the camera's other shortcomings. This is not the camera for everyone. It is for people who love shooting medium format film, who enjoy the photographic process as much as the results. For such individuals, the Quattro H presents an unprecedented and deeply rewarding photographic experience at a surprisingly low price. It is, for all of its faults, the camera that dares to be different, and we will be sad to send it back. For more information, make sure to read the full review at digitaltrends.com.